are here engaging with each other and sharing our stories, our little bit of learning. And this is the first episode, and this will go on for some time. There we've known each other for more than 2 decades or so. He was my boss at one point of time, and one of the fondest memory I've had with Mukesh there, to really learn a lot of things. And of course, he has done many things afterwards. We'll talk about a little bit more. So welcome to this podcast, and we will have fun, and we'll have a little bit of learning as well and sharing our experiences. So welcome to Mukesh as well. Mukesh, thank you
Thank
for
you.
really joining. And I'm very excited and very uh, kicked about really starting these episodes along with you. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Anish. In fact, I'll say it's a pleasure and it's great fun to reconnect with you. Of course, in a very different platform and in a very different format. And while, yes, we do go back, I guess, almost 24, 25 years, but I'll not talk about the history because I don't want to get into interpreting our age groups. But yes, we have seen a lot of corporate life and a lot of work together. And seeing you in this entrepreneurial avatar is amazing and very refreshing to see you like this with so much achievement. So looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah. Only thing I would really say is that don't give away any of the tips or the things which you really gave me in the performance appraisal, yeah, meeting. So just don't give away those. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just kidding. There. So yeah, so you've been away from India for quite some time as well, and then now you're really starting your corporate thing. Which is I love your company name is also called Driven Fintech. And is
Yeah.
it because I'm HR guys? I'm asking this. Is it because you're very driven, and that's the reason this company name is Driven, of course you're a finance and you've been in finance for a long time, so I'm not surprised. Yeah. So what's the thinking about it?
Actually, everybody is driven. I have not come across anyone, including you, my friend. Uh, if you are people driven, I'll say you're organization driven. Someone will call themselves as profit driven, bottom line driven, tech driven. But most favorite for all of us has always been customer driven or people driven. There's nothing that exists or moves if you're not customer driven. And when you see so much of that in your slides and in your conversation, me and my team, we thought it's best to be called Driven FinTech. And yes, we are a FinTech. We are into financial services and building platforms, or more importantly, enablers that makes the journey to reach out to the millions of more, making it convenient. So driven is the way because I don't know what else to be.
So it no, and I love this name, but it's a pleasure to introduce you as well to the audience here. Is you've been with the corporate life for many years, and then we've known each other from the ICICI Prudential days. But before that, of course, you started career with Xerox, then Bank of America, and then all through and through you moved to ICICI Prudential, and then you have remained in insurance for a long time. We're working with various organizations like AIG, Aviva, and then last role you really did was the CEO for Zurich Insurance in Malaysia. Yeah, so so it's a powerhouse of, I would say, insurance and the finance industry. And now you're really bringing all the learnings in your new startup, and we'll talk about it, new startup about it. Yeah, but that's the understanding I have reading, and then I've been watching from distance for quite some time. You and then following you.
See, startups have become, I'll say, the way forward. And would like to even hear your views and comments from others as well. uh, while we have been on our, very, I'd say, structured, uh, rewarding, developing careers right from the time we pass out from our respective schools. And the Indian system is such that it keeps the structure very clean and easy. So you pass out, you go for campus interviews, and then you go for first job. Then it's also planned and organized, and the whole society looks at you that way, that how you're progressing. But in the last, I'll say at least 8 to 10 years, much to, I'll say, my liking. Uh, Honestly, I'm very happy with the change of the overall, I'll say, ecosystem, society. Uh, Very experienced and I'll say informed people are jumping into new startups. And while some people call it's like a flavor or it's trendy, I don't want to demean anybody's effort by calling it a flavor. This is not about a fashionable jacket or a new flavor of chocolate or ice cream. This is serious stuff. And what is very pleasing, which took me towards this or steered me towards this role, is it's rewarding in more than one way. It's not just about titles or money. It's about you've worked all your way. I worked all in various roles, and we do see limitations, and they are not bad, but they are limitations that you have being part of a brand, being part of a team, and they were all my notes that someday when I'm on my own, which is I'm going to write my own, let's say, rules of engagement, for lack of any other way, or I'm going to have my own freewheeling way of steering my small little boat in the direction that I think is most relevant for the times. And that is, I'll say, that change of acceptability since almost 10, 12 years or 15 years. There's so many role models, so many good examples all over the world. And in Asia and India, it's happened much more than many other parts of the world. And that gave me confidence to jump into this. And to everybody, I would like to actually talk a little bit more about my friend Anish, who's when you think his logo up there, it's not A for Anish, it's all things people. And maybe someday you will need a people there. But I
There
do
is a people
see,
there.
yeah, there is a people of the, oh, where is that?
It's the A is
Oh,
inside and
okay.
P is, yes, there is
Okay,
P.
okay. See, there you go. All right, very intelligent, very smart. So,
Yeah,
so that chat bubble is like a P or is a P.
yeah.
There you go. Okay, great. No, so for me, Anish has always been uh, amazing connect between people and business goals. Uh, the way we worked right from the word go, your team, everybody, and that was, I guess, our first startup experience, which was with two very powerful brands. And all those who are going to listen to this from that brand will definitely know what we are talking about. So while keeping many things discreet, the right people will know what we are talking about. And that time it was a very different atmosphere, chaotic at times. At times, I call it organized chaos by our bosses, by our leadership team, who were very clear that insurance industry got privatized, so we have to make impact. And that was as simple as that. And we were recruiting, building teams. And when you joined the team, it was a relief for me personally, because came across, though I will use the word HR person, but I'll say you're still more people and more resourceful person. You were that resourceful person who was connecting the dots so naturally. So when we talk top line, bottom line, it's not, I never had to tell myself that I'm talking to someone who has, let's say, a narrow outlook, and he or she will not understand. Let him just fix interviews and candidates for me, or let him just make my org structure. No, for me, Anush was a uh, partner in terms of everything that we achieved together. And you were making sure resources were getting ready, while some other part members of the team were making sure that we were opening doors in expanding distribution. It was a distribution game. Insurance remains a distribution game.
Yeah.
Platforms and methods have changed, but it is basically, I can't imagine an insurance company who doesn't talk distribution morning to evening. So there you go. For me and for everybody else who's listening in, Anish is one of those few talents in, I'd say, in the entire global space who takes human resource management beyond the obvious and make sure the right resources come in for the right purpose and not just for the sake of warming seats. And till date, I'm sure your friends and colleagues in Unilever Group, where you have done an amazing job, especially in Australia, they would say the same thing. And I hope they're listening in and they will possibly be nodding and saying, yeah, that's Anish for us. So it's a start for both of us, a start of sorts. And let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah, no, thank you. You've been very kind describing me. Nah. In the startup, in fact, Mukesh, I get I read a lot of and get a lot of learnings from animals and birds. And then I'm talking about startup, and I think both of us are on a similar page here. And my narrative on this is that, the eagle, uh, typically the eagles have two lives, not most of them. So
Mhm.
majority of them have a life about 60, 70 years or so. And then once they grow old, their feathers become very heavy. They cannot really fly, and their beak starts becoming it bent, right? So they cannot really hunt as well. So they become weak and they die. But there are few eagles, right, who go to the mountain
Uh,
and they basically break the peak, let it grow once again, and then they take their feather. So it's very painful process. They take their own feathers, and
mhm.
there's a famous the fly they really do, and then when they fly for next 30, 40 years,
Wow.
right there. And I think this is the same thing which is really there for us as well, that we have left the corporate job. And I often say that I am a management trainee of a startup world, so I'm learning quite a bit. First 5 years, whatever number of years, is full grinding, really learning, really doing things, and then really seeing that how it can really done. So that's the way I really express is from moving away from corporate and really getting to startup and then doing things which is around all things people and in the HR tech space. But there are a lot of things which I've really learned, and a lot of things you really take it for granted, may not really take place. It doesn't really happen. And this is the time to really put their heads down, really enjoy the process. And then if we're successful, then again we'll fly for another couple of decades for this area. Yeah, so that's my expression on startup at my age.
One thing I will avoid totally in all our conversation is I will not discuss age, and not because I'm very proud of my age,
Yeah,
but there
yeah.
is this element called, you know, I get asked these questions in simple conversations over a beer and sometime in some dinners and some presentations that, so you are looking at a new phase of life. This is your new next phase of life, or is this a new retirement planning? I'm telling you honestly, I just don't like the word retirement.
Hmm?
And there again, I will say one of the good old uh, taglines, which was there in when we launched a pension plan. I hope I can say it right. Uh, you retire from work and not life. There was a tagline in one of the top brands that I have seen and read. Now my point is there's nothing like that, and you keep working till you enjoy what you're doing. I see that in you. I see that in me. I see that in many other friends and colleagues who are in this new zone. And startup is, again, you define startup the way you want to define, the way your goal is or your purpose is. If I have to talk about, for example, for 1 minute about driven is not really true spends in PNL language. It's a startup. But the idea is not a startup. We are delivering embedded insurance of the top brands who are billion-dollar brands. They've been around for 60, 70 years. We have created a new vehicle to take them to those customers who normally don't buy online, and they possibly go to the traditional agents or traditional channels of distribution. So in some ways, I say, yes, P&L language, legally, I am a new company. But realistically speaking, in the world of market, which is where we exist, I don't think I'm a startup or we are a startup. We are representing the top brands, and we are meeting the customers who have bought insurance in the past and will continue buying. Possibly we are delivering a new method in a new way. And more than the new method, it is the new way because it is very intuitive. It is just about one click, as I say sometimes, and there you have a policy in your mailbox. And that is a refreshing change to serve certain segments which otherwise would not think of this method on their own. So what's happening with the startups? There are some who are manufacturing startups. There are many examples of that, who have started things from scratch. I am that way more privileged. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm actually refining the methods of distribution for insurance to make it more relevant in today's time when you have the Gen Z and you have the new generations of people coming up. And if 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 numbers like per capita use of internet was not discussed 10 years ago, now it's becoming a common parlance. In country stats, other than the big microeconomic stats, you will hear what is the average per capita, how many hours. So for example, average Malaysian spends 16 to 17 hours on internet in a day. Now that's, imagine. So when do you sleep? When do you eat? You can say that. But that is, if that is the number, and similarly, other countries, we talk about per capita mobile ownership is more than one. So mobile is no more a phone, and it is no more just a computer. It's an engagement tool. And with all the applications that you have on in your handphone, you're basically one touch away from anything big that you can decide, or you're one touch away from anything big that you can access. Internet is oxygen now. Uh, these lines were not said 10 years ago, Anish. These lines were not even said as confidently, even I'll say, even during lockdown, everybody was saying we are in the lockdown. We've had a very bad situation in every country. There were different guidelines, and therefore you were doing most of the things like work from home. So work from home got created because of that. Yes, it got triggered because of lockdown, but it was anyway about time when organizations started giving more flexibility for employee retention or for optimizing your time. I mean, why would you drive and park and spend 1 hour, or in a city like Mumbai, you spend 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, 4 hours of your life is gone in just logistics. And if you step out for a meeting, God help you. Now you can optimize all that by just sitting and working. Of course, emails work, but even meetings work. Online meetings work. You just switch on the camera and that's it. So all this has evolved with the new generation coming in, with new resources and new tools coming in. And they have now become, I'm avoiding any jargons intentionally because they have become the new normal. These are the new normal. And many things will change even by the time, let's say we do next podcast, something else will also happen, especially with the way the internet is getting optimized. So it's a very fascinating space for everybody who wants to be self-employed or who wants to go a little, I'll say, wild and crazy. And we are looking at growing this community. We are looking at, and we are as corporate as anyone would be. So I'm still in corporate life, but yes, I don't look for the salary coming on a certain date. That credit doesn't happen anymore, sadly. But then we are taking care of our own future, and that freedom, entrepreneurial freedom, for us is an amazing feeling, Anish. It's super. It's the freedom.
Yeah. And entrepreneurs freedom is also really comes with lots of responsibility.
Bilkul. Yeah.
Yeah, which is also really there. And then, for example, um, I mean, earlier there was a boss who was looking at you, what's the this report, that report, or you have to really go and the P&L is being really managed and so on and so forth as well. But today it's also about when you are entrepreneur, you're sometimes and it's fun, but it's also everything you have to really do as well. So my simple example is that if you are going to office at 9 o'clock every day, 9 o'clock you're really reaching. Are you really starting? And I tell myself if that's the way, then at 9 o'clock I should be really sitting on my table and really working as
Hmm.
well and things like that. So those the freedom really comes, but it also really comes with some rigor, discipline as well. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
just digressing because eventually the discipline will really make the rigor really comes through, and then eventually making the startup becoming successful because you are in the startup and you are entrepreneur, but at the same time it's important to really bring that discipline as well.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, uh, for 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 all of us, and if I have to talk about myself and my team, discipline is also got in its own. It's had its got own new look now. So
Mm.
it's at least for us, it's no more about just 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. It's to some extent it's around the clock,
Yeah.
some weekends as well. And I guess I'll replace the word discipline with commitment. That's the way I am in my own, it's been 2.5 years for me. It's the commitment towards the purpose that I'm set out to be. So if we see a market which is as big as, let's say, we keep talking about what is the total accessible market or what is the serviceable market. But if you have in a country like, let's say, Malaysia, you have 14 to 15 million out of the 32 million, 14 to 15 million people who can be served in a much better way to buy insurance in a very specific way. These 15, 16 million people have lot of them who are right now in the age group of 25 to 35, or even the 18-year-old is very empowered now. Even the 15-year-old is more empowered, even if they are not earning. Now, when I'm serving them and that purpose is very clear to me, I also adapt myself to be like them because it's again the customer centricity. If I'm looking at serving a 25-year-old, I have to eat, breathe, sleep, or think like a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old. And they may not like the 9 to 5 job definition. When they work now, they work with their own flexibility and their own redefined way of even carrying themselves. I think even the way you dress up in office is different now.
Yeah.
So much of cultural change because of the rapidly growing new generation who has come up more with social media and not more with schools and colleges the way you and I went. And that's another topic we can keep for another day, social media. But just to give you a quick example, in one of my previous roles, where like anywhere else, I won't take the brand name, but in office time, you're not allowed to access any social media. It's actually firewall. You can't even access. Forget trying to. You can't. It took me some effort, but I did manage to get access to Facebook, to to a to my team whom I wanted to be totally committed towards engagement via social media. And they rightfully told me that, Mukesh, how do we do this? Because during working hours, I'm not allowed to access. And in fact, it was looked down upon that during working hours, you're on Facebook. Now, my point is they belong to Facebook not because just for the fun of it, because that's their comfort zone. Simple.
Mm.
I gave them that comfort zone in the so-called structure of a very regular organization. And when that was done, thanks to my colleagues and my management team who approved of it, there was no looking back. We increased our distribution engagement. We did a quantum leap. What was possibly going through a traditional memo to a branch was becoming real-time engagement. And there was no more discussion like memo has not reached this branch in this country or memo has not reached this country. So how do they know? And like, what are you talking now? It's real time. We posted on the Facebook, please read and download and do whatever you want to do with it because it's all uh, versions are such that you can download and use in any tool. Now that engagement, and that is all Facebook driven. And now there are, of course, even the likes of TikTok and YouTube and I'll say even Instagram, all of them have now they are not just managing our lives, they're managing our work, they're managing our income.
Yeah.
And you see so many when you hear them as this unique role has come out, which I'm still trying to understand. Social media influencers who are making a lot of money. I don't get it. I still don't get it, but I understand that social media is now a place of work.
Yeah.
It's a place of work. There's no brick and mortar there. It's anytime, anywhere. And with all that happening, how can we not serve the market? Coming back to the point, when I'm serving my customers, how can I not serve them in the same social media where they are comfortable?
Yeah.
You are
In
most
fact,
productive in your comfort zone. Yeah,
and
sorry.
I'll tell you an example. I was meeting one of the CHRO, big CHRO. Um, and in the conversation, he was really talking about that, what happened, Anish, that one of our employees posted something on social media, which he's not really happy about. So I got very curious. So he got very curious. He called the employee. I said and then he wanted to speak to him. So he met him in the office and said that, okay, so what is the problem? Why are you really putting on a social media overall? And his team was furious because he should be reprimanded and we have a digital policy and so on and so forth, right? But this CHRO was very, very measured and he said, no, I want to understand what does it really mean. So he called that guy. He had a chat with him over a coffee, and asked him, "So why did you do this? You had a problem. Then you could have gone and spoken to your manager or your HR person or whoever is really there. Why did you do that?" I said, "What's the problem?" So he said, and this is what's the problem? If I have a problem, I go and express myself on social media. So if I have a problem, I'm just going and telling there. So what's the problem? So he stepped back and basically really said that no, that's a fair point. And there, but anyway, because of they had a policy, so that guy took down the whatever he had really written on the social media. And this is what I really say that eventually to the CHRO and CEOs when I meet overall is that in today's scenario there is a unique situation, right? There are many organizations. There are 3 or 4 generations are working together.
Absolutely right.
All of them have a different style, different expectation, different things really there. Right? So there are different set of people are working. And all the system which is really there for listening to people are old time. One time survey you do, right? You do one time survey you do, and then by the time you come back to the next time, the things have changed, people have changed, contexts have really changed. And I'm not saying that you should not really do that, but that's not the only thing you really do, right? Because unless until you're not really tuned in with your team, with the organization on a regular basis, and what's really happening, you will not really know the pulse. And the second thing is that, this phrase which has been used and misused so much called people are the biggest asset, right? And organizations are after getting the best talent from outside, but you have your own people and they have the all vested interest to make you successful. Only thing you can really do is that you listen deeply and do a little bit of action around it, and then go and close the loop with the employees that this is what you really said, this is what I've really done. They start feeling the trust, and once that really happens, the organizations really start really seeing the benefit out of it, right? So I'm really putting in a very simple manner. I mean, it's like in business. You listen to customers all the time, and you solve their problem. You bring them again and again to your platform, to your place to really, or for your product as well. Same thing for employees, which you listen little deeply, and you have to really bring the method in the madness. They're there, and I say so. Yeah, so
So are
that's
you
the
trying
thing
to
which
say
we
that
should.
people are assets, but many organizations don't do enough to retain the asset or value the asset? Is that what you're saying?
So let me. I'm being a little provocative here,
Sure. Please
and
be.
deliberately, right? Many organizations are after shiny object, awesome place to work,
Hmm.
certificate, right? There, I get an award of this, and then go and celebrate. But you turn around and you celebrate this in the organization. You turn around and you go back to on a coffee discussion, or
Mhm.
in a water cooler, wherever is really there, and then people
Uh-huh.
say, I don't see this is there's so many problems really taking place, right? So sometimes people are after shiny object. Of course, you should, because that helps you to really get
It's
the
PR. It's also PR.
employer
You
brand
need the
really going.
brand and the
It's
PR,
required.
and yeah, you need to have.
But that's not the only thing. After that, what? But at the same time, many organizations asking you every day, what's your mood today? Okay, one day I said good, second day I said good, third day I said not good, fifth day I said good. Then what does it really mean, right?
Hmm.
So the point is really here is that one needs to listen purposefully and not sake of listening. And when you listen purposefully and through technology, actually you can really take the insights much more accurate, what requirement needed where, and then you can do the intervention, right? There so I think there is a lot of power is then wisdom is there amongst people, and you tap them really nicely. It can really give huge benefit. And there are many organizations. I mean, you have been my boss, for example. We were part of the team, and the things are there. The kind of involvement which are really there, the kind of things really take, but not everywhere it really takes place, right? And that's where the things really start really dropping down. So yeah, so
It's a
that's
big,
the
it's a big topic, and I'm
yeah,
sure we'll cover this more in our future podcasts
yeah, yeah, yeah,
on let's say listening to your people
yeah,
and retaining the right assets, who are very clear. What I call, in my experience, there are people who are very clear with the purpose. I keep referring to the purpose because wherever we work, whatever we do, every day has a purpose, and they come into the work, or they, I won't say come in now, they log in, they boot the whichever gadget they boot, whether it's the phone or whether it's your tablet. You boot in with a clear purpose, and they can be groomed and developed to far bigger responsibilities than we can think of. And there are many others whom what you call shiny objects may not be as committed to the purpose.
yeah.
So
So
that
for
will be
example,
another big topic.
yeah, for example, I'm just saying is that let's say insurance, you sell insurance to different customers as per the need, right? What's the need? Then
Yeah.
you really bring that as well. Similarly, why should be the HR policies the same for everybody,
Yeah.
right? I, I mean, one size fit all. Of course, there are broader themes are there. So insurance is a broader theme, right?
But you still,
But
but for 1,000 employees, you can't have 1,000 policies also.
no, you cannot. You
You cannot.
cannot. So what I'm trying to say that you have a insurance. You're really saying so. Insurance is a policy, is an organization, and there is a need which is really there, right? So the policy, yes, one could be really, but the need could be flexible, and that flexibility can be really brought in, and that's where the one size fit all really starts really going down.
Mhm.
So that's, and in human psyche is also is also is that the moment one size fit all, then And that's the reason there's so many memes really comes out in the chat and things really happens as well, right? Overall. So there are a lot of organizations also really have progressed and they really look at in terms of really how do I really cater? And if a Gen Z is expecting certain things, certain ways to really do that, unless until you don't really need and understand how will you really cater to them. So
No, no,
then,
absolutely.
yeah, so that's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, with the people, people being customer, people being colleagues, people being team, there's certain rules. I think there are certain golden rules will apply.
Yeah.
I tend to look at them, how were they brought up or how have they reached where they are? And going back to the point about social media, I now meet people who were brought up with YouTube videos. And to your point, there are organizations or there are teams where there are many generations working. So there are people who have not been brought up with YouTube videos. They were brought up by reading books and comics and, you know, a classroom method, traditional. And there are teams and people and customers who were brought up with just social media. And for them, everything, uh, they were they were exposed to screen time in a very natural way. Whereas for us, you and I still use the word screen time, that the millions of people, customers, and in the workforce, for them, when you say screen time, they look at you like, so, so what? I mean, what is screen time? Or they don't know what is not being on screen.
Yeah.
So, and I'm enjoying all this, by the way. I'm not complaining at all. I'm enjoying all this because even at home, with my children, both of them, me and my wife, we try to talk about controlling screen time. And they look at me like that, or they look at my wife. Why do you want to control screen time? I'm doing this because I got the mails from school. So the school sends them email. So when my daughter and son are doing school email, and when they switch out to social media, and when they are watching their fun YouTuber, I don't know. The screen change is not even an instance change. It is,
Yeah.
it's just with touch of a finger,
Yeah.
gentle touch rather. And there you go. So they are freewheeling on their screen time, but then they do have their emails from school. They do have their shared folders where the so-called homework is uploaded and they're supposed to, but nobody's carrying books anymore. They're carrying the tablet to school. And that generation is now working in workspace. That generation is consuming. That generation is out there to buy insurance. And that's what this rapid change has got me so, I find it so fascinating and so much of variety that has got me in the space that I am right now. And in fact, even before I, quit my, if I may say, salaried job, I still say I haven't quit corporate life. I'm in corporate life. Uh, when I'm on my own and I'm trying to fill the gaps, or I am filling the gaps with my team in certain markets, in Malaysia, in Philippines, in some other Southeast Asian markets, it's amazing how fast the results come, Anish. Now the results come much faster. We can change a particular idea of digital marketing on one particular evening, and you will be surprised. And I hope you will find the same thing in your space also. We get sometimes results by midnight because my platform is round the clock. I may tweak something, and by evening I'm seeing a take-up rate change, or hits are going up, or hits are coming down.
Mm.
Uh, you know, uh, Now those things, the way you play around, if you can, the results are coming faster, the feedback is coming faster. Feedback can be good or bad. I'm not saying everything is easy and everything goes only one way, which is north. No, things don't go south as well. They do go, you do see something suddenly going wrong, but then you can correct also that much faster. So it's such a, I just feel the universe has got totally refreshed, or it's getting redefined even by the time our podcast goes live. And to some extent, some of our conversation will feel a bit outdated even tomorrow. Or yeah, you don't know who announces what. Some of the governments are making rapid moves and rapid changes. Uh, the whole Asia is buzzing with uh, activities which is on cloud, and that's another favorite word of mine. Sometimes some regulations tell you are on which cloud. And I do tell them, on which cloud do you want me to be? So they all want to protect the cloud. And I said, how long can you protect the cloud? Because it's all now, uh, there's hardly anything on-prem. And of course, organizations are sticking to their, you can say, trusts and their other things to be on premises. But it's all moving in the direction, or the wind is with the cloud, or the cloud is moving as fast as the wind is. And it's all towards digitalization. And
Yeah.
everything has happened. In fact, I don't even know if I can say what will happen tomorrow, because forecasting is the last thing I'll do now, or
Yeah.
predicting is the last thing I'll do. Things have happened fast. It's about adopting adaptations and quickly going into the right zone, the relevant zone. Uh, and that relevance will get you business, will get you the clicks.
Yeah. So since you talked about prediction, and you not predict, but somebody has a very famous guy. I think Sam Altman of OpenAI. He's come back and talking about is that in the future in organizations, uh, specializations will go away
Mhm.
and they will be generalists,
Wow.
and those generalists will be very seasoned generalists, not the normal generalists, a seasoned generalists, right? There. So whichever work is specialized and SOP, and the majority of work is SOP right there, right? SOP driven, right? There and repetitive. That will get replaced by agentic AI.
Mhm.
And then his prediction is that 80%, imagine marketing a function, right? Or let's say HR function, my own function, right? 80% will become agentic AI. So the person will go and hunt for the CV, get the CV ready done, and then somebody, obviously individually will interview. Once interview is done, offer is rolled out. Training is done by, maybe majority of training is ready. So 80% is done by agentic AI, and 20% will be individual, and they will be special. They will be seasoned journalists and not specialists. So you know, God knows how it it'll really take place. But you can see that, right? There are so many things which are really taking place. I mean, a click of the button, you can really make a PPT. Click of the button. I mean, my own company, my product, AV, which we made through AI. And if I go to the agency, they will take 3 months, and the cost is humongous and so on and so forth. So there's a fraction of cost, some tweaking we really done, and it's good enough to really go. So I think things are really changing as well. Of course, the digital there. I'm switching gear, Mukesh, because we are on time.
Yeah.
Um, you've been away almost 2 decades from India in different
Yeah.
leadership roles outside as well. And let's say I'm going back to my root. I come from Motihari, Bihar, right? And if 20 years old boy or girl is listening in Motihari or Bihar, or maybe in Australia or anywhere, um, what is that one or two things you will really leave with them? Is that building your great career and now in the journey of entrepreneurship, one or two things you will really leave for 20-year-old boy or girl to take from and then learn from?
Very tough question or topic to get into, because understanding a 20-year-old is also tough. Though I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son, but I'm still trying to interpret them every day. But I will keep the conversation flowing. To a 20-year-old today, uh, none of them will have career moves like we have. That's let's be very clear. And sometimes I do like to think what is not possible. It's my own way of narrowing down. What is not possible should be understood, and then what is possible is visible. So what is not possible is they are not going to have the way we or you and I went to our campuses and came out, and the interviews and and the discussions and selection. They, 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 to a 20-year-old, they should just look at opportunities or areas which interest them right now. Because we say get into the work that you enjoy doing. I will still say that's relevant. But yes, as a 20-year-old, you may not know. And mostly you will, I won't be surprised if they say, I don't know what is interesting to me. And I don't know what fascinates me. Now, whether you pick up whichever career that interests you, I'll say be flexible. Definitely be flexible. And make sure you are you, you have very good awareness of what you need to prepare yourself with. Gear yourself with the right tools, right information, right knowledge. It can be a course, because now the courses are available online. You don't have to go and apply. That's what I mean. What is not possible is the way we did it. You don't have to go to a college and get a form and fill a form. But I don't know about you, I did that. I have always gone to a school and got myself an admission form and filled it. That's how old as I am. But today's 20-year-old has nothing to worry like that. It's a waste of time to go to a college campus and get an application form, or to go to you at the, you can just search which course interests you, get going. I'll say use your time round the clock. I'm not going to preach into what time do you get up and what time do you sleep. I'm not going to get into that discussion. I'll say whenever you're wide awake and you are charged, read. There's so much coming in from the internet. There's so much coming in, flowing in information. Pick up your interests, just get going. The careers will start anytime, anywhere. You can be a freelancer. I mean, I have people who are my favorite coders. They are possibly 22, 23-year-old, Anish, and I have some coders who are working for my team from Bengal, though I'm abroad, but they're working near Kolkata. I don't even know which office they're working, but I kind of know it is somewhere near Kolkata. They're doing fantastic job, and they are all flexi time workers. But somebody is very good in Java, somebody is very good in coding, somebody is good in making sure the Python language translates into what I need to be delivering through my platform or through my journey. Now, that 22, 23-year-old boy that you're talking about, they are very flexible. They are not committing anything. So even I'll say, don't commit anything called 9 to 5. Don't sign any contract which is for 2 years or 5 years. Be flexible. Use your skills, keep sharpening. And by the time you are 25, 28, there will be amazing new world and clear, you can say, path in front of you. But as a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 21, plus minus a few years, just be flexible and just keep absorbing and keep sharpening your pencil or your brain. Pencil is also outdated. See, there you go. I'm so outdated. I'm talking sharpening a pencil. It's an outdated analogy. Sorry for that, but that's what we are. So just make sure you are at the cutting edge. Maybe that's the right word, and much more things will happen to you. I'm actually saying do not get into any structured. Many of us may not agree, but I'm saying be flexible, be fluid as an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old, and much more will happen to you than ever happened to anybody else from other generation. But you got to be hungry, and I'm very jealous of today's 18-year-old or 20-year-old from the very fact that they can get so much of information download. You can say too much information is bad. We got to be focused. I don't know. At this stage of my life, I'll say focus also has many different nuances. Depends what you mean by focus. At this stage, the way where I am, I would say don't have to focus too much also, because you may lose out on something which is connected. So why be a one-trick pony? Why?
Yeah.
Don't be that. And everybody, I'm sure, wants to make more money. At that age, they want to earn. You can earn a lot of money if you are smart with your time, and you can actually work a lot more. Time management will always be relevant. I don't think that will get outdated. But which way do you do it depends on you. There's no 9 to 5, but there can be, I don't know, 12 to 12, or there can be 2 hours of work and break and 1 hour of work and break and whatever.
Nice.
Be fluid, be open, be fresh, be charged.
Yeah. So I call it as something called CST. So
Uh-huh.
many things you already talked about it is there. So of course being curious and curious, which is the learning, doing various things, continuously learning, and that world is really moving very fast as well. And I'll talk about S. What does it really mean? Tech. T is for tech. So tech is
Okay.
there as well, and then AI and things, and God knows what will really happen. But today it is an edge, but in future I don't think it'll become an edge. It'll become a norm, and without that you'll not really survive, right? Yeah, so that'll become a norm. But apart from that also, I think the things which will also really become very important, still really important, is that the social skills. When you are on the screen all the time, and the people who are able to really pay attention to the social skill and then connect the dots and really bring things together and bring all generalists together will start becoming making a difference in later. So that's what I say, that CST, the being curious, social, and tech. Maybe tech is right now, but tomorrow it'll become a norm, and God knows what will really happen. So that's my take. Yeah.
No, but tech has become common sense now, Anish.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
It is, I, you and I don't have to tell a youngster today, be tech oriented. That's for you and me to know.
No, but eventually the AI overall, for example, the way really moving, the kind of things which really take, for example, today, for example, you and me, we don't know how to really write a code, right? We don't know
Yeah,
how to write a code. But today, if you know English, you can write a code.
yeah.
There are the agentic AIs already there. You should know what is that you want to ask for, and
Mhm.
you ask this question and you put your prompt, you can write a code. And that's the way it really thinks really moving. So it's not about the, because the things is are evolving so fast and so big overall. I mean, for example, let's say there are typically, if I say generative AI, there are a few names which really comes to our mind, right? Which is, let's say, ChatGPT, Gemini,
Yeah.
or DeepSeek, or the thing. You know how many such tools are really there? Only from a search point of view, there are 503 today.
Wow. And more in another few minutes.
Yeah, right, right. There and there's, so it is becoming. So yeah, it is progressing very fast, and that's when I'm saying that paying attention to tech there, and tomorrow it'll become a norm overall. But yeah, that's the
Yeah, yeah.
curious. Yeah.
But interesting times, Anish. Uh, Everybody around us, whichever age group they come through, what I know for sure is uh, the new normal or the normal getting refreshed every day. Almost every day there is a refresh. I mean, that is one button I think we press a lot of times in a day.
Yeah.
And even in our mind, we got to press in our own way. Everybody has their own style of refreshing. Too much new is coming in and it's all good. I think the variety is a welcome change. When I hear, look at words like digital nomad. So when you're talking about what should the youngsters do, and I'm saying be flexible, be fluid. Now, in various countries, you normally apply for, and you and I have been overseas for long, you would typically apply for an employment pass, or you hear about golden visas, or you hear about work visa, investment visa. Now it's digital nomad. So many people can move to another country for a short term or a long term under a special work permit called digital nomad.
Yeah.
And they are not expected to work from a brick and mortar. They are, as the word says, it's self-explanatory. But even in the mind, if I drop the word digital and I use the word nomads as a community is growing very fast, Anish.
Mm.
There are more nomads in the overall, talking about all things people. It's about nomads are growing faster than anybody who was very structured and, if I say, based or stagnant. Nobody is stagnant and nobody should be stagnant. And it's challenging to absorb all this, but I want to, I'm looking forward to more engagements like this with yourself and with some more friends to keep the ball rolling, especially to all those who are interested in in not just being driven about people, but driven about change. And people will always be the carriers. I mean, I'm very sincere in that statement. People are the carriers. Uh, I won't even use the word artificial intelligence for anything now. We can talk about it some other day. But people are the carriers, people are the messengers first. It is people first, or it is the human element first. Then everything else is being driven by human only. I don't think anything landed from outer space. Somebody invented it. So that way I'm very sincere. It's all people driven. It always will be like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's been a pleasure, and we will continue these discussions more and more and more
definitely.
episodes to really come. And yeah, if please subscribe to our channel, and if you have any comments, you want to share anything, or you want us to cover anything, let us know as
Absolutely.
well. But yeah, it's good fun.
It is, and I'm looking forward to everyone's feedback for in whichever direction. If some of you find this was a simple conversation, yes, it is. It is two of us friends, very good friends. Uh, conversation is free flowing, and at the same time, we will get into some specific topics in the future episode. So, thank you for this, Anish.
Right.
All the best.